Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Spirited Life podcast with me, Ashley Strong, psychic medium, intuitive development teacher, mindset coach, and your friend and guide through your intuitive development journey. I'm so excited to be here again today. It's another video podcast. It is the most beautiful day. It's also my daughter's birthday. We've had a busy day today. I have been running around since 6 a.m. I'm not even kidding. I got up, I did yoga, I meditated, I journaled, got the kids on the bus, made them breakfast, all of that. Went and picked up lunch for my daughter, had lunch with her, went to the gym, picked up her special birthday dinner. We have an event for my son tonight. Like, it is just the busiest day, but I am vibing and I'm loving it. I just recorded another another class for Elevate Your Fate. When this class is completed, I am going to be releasing it to the public because I've built it out as a course as I've gone. So all of the live classes, and they were recorded live, so there's gonna be, you know, some weird little hiccups, I'm sure, but they were recorded live. So all of those live classes I've put into a course that will be a 6-week course that has the videos and then also the notes for the classes, if that's something that you're interested in. Today's class was on the chakras, but if you're like, well, I don't know that I need the whole Elevate Your Fate, but I really do want to learn about the chakras, I have an entire chakras one-on-one course that I don't really promote that much. I don't know why. It's a really, really good course. It goes into the science and the woo-woo and how your chakras connect with your physical body and what the energy of blocked and overworked or overactive chakras, the impact that those have on your energetic body, physical body, spirit, intuition, all of that. So that's just a little side note. But today's class is going to actually be about some of my favorite book recommendations. I get this question from people all of the time about what are some books that have really helped me along my journey. So I've got books that I've started from the beginning of my journey that I am, I don't think I'm currently reading any of these, but that I definitely reference back to on occasion. I'm currently reading a book about the sacred and dark feminine, and that's something interesting to me because it's nothing I've ever really dove into. I can't think of the name of it right now. I'm also currently reading Unbleep Yourself. I can't say it on here. I have to mark it as explicit. I want to say that's by Gary Chapman. I think I'm probably wrong about that, but it's definitely called Unf Yourself, and it's okay so far. I'm kind of having trouble getting into it, but I do love the lessons. I started it a long time ago, and then I just set it down and kind of forgot about it, and I'm getting back into it. So it's not my type of typical self-help that I like to read, but I like to, you know, branch out every once in a while. Anyway, so today I'm going to give you some that I have read, that I believe in, that I reference back to. Some of these I have given copies away and bought other copies for myself. One of them I think I'm on like my third or fourth copy. So I'm excited to share these with you today and how they have helped me. I'm going to put links to each of them in the show notes, and if you are watching this on the website, I'm going to have the links on the blog directly. Yeah, so let's get into it. So this book was such an interesting find for me. I was walking around Barnes & Noble one day. I had not started, I can't remember if I had started the blog yet or not. I definitely had not left my corporate job yet. And I was just walking around and with no intention, right? Because I go through phases of reading, and back then I really didn't read much at all, I'm ashamed to say. But I go through phases where I'm either reading all the time or I'm not reading at all. And I just was like, I feel like I need to go. I feel like I need a book. So I went on my lunch break no clue what I was looking for. And I'm walking around, and I kid you not, this book fell off the shelf. It fell off the shelf right in front of me. And it's called The Laws of Spirit. So this is my second copy of this book. I gave this to my brother a long time ago and never got it back. But it's fine. It's called The Laws of Spirit, A Tale of Transformation. I have read this book multiple times. It's a quick, easy read. I mean, it's only 109 pages. And as you can see, like, I've bookmarked it, I've highlighted throughout it. So this book reads, I guess it is like a novel, kind of, but the message and the depth of it is so much different than a novel. I took it as, I want to say fact, but I definitely felt it as I was reading it. I knew that it was meant for me. So basically it's about this guy who is struggling. I want to say he's struggling in just his life, his marriage as a whole, and he decides to take a walk in the woods. And sometime throughout his journey through the woods, he runs into this like wise old sage woman, and she teaches him all the different laws of spirit. So really, the laws of your spirit, the laws of life. And so as he's going through this as he's going through these laws with her and experiencing all these different things, and patience and transformation and self-love and perspective, like, it's just, I freaking love this book so much. And she's just like this wise old sage, and then he kind of comes out of the woods and his life's changed. So that's the synopsis of it, right? But I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. I am not a quick reader. You can read this in a day. It's a really, really, really good book. And this is like the perfect definitions of it. Wise and playful teachings, as easy as your breath, as gracious as the Tao. So highly recommend this one. Not getting to this one yet. This one, Journey of Souls. This one obviously has been around a while. The cover is coming off. It's falling apart. I've had this one for a while. This one is very interesting. This is more for my woo-woo people, or for the people who are interested in the woo but don't quite believe it and are still kind of, they like to balance, I don't want to say science, but they like case studies, right? Things like that. So actually, case studies of lives between lives. This is very interesting. It's talking about just the different journeys that we go on as a soul, obviously. How our other lives play into current lives. Just different ways of looking at life now, and how maybe past lives have impacted current lives, future lives, relationships, all of that. So I highly recommend this one. I have not read this one in a while, but it was really, really helpful to me when I was starting to understand my own gifts, because I was like, okay, this is happening and this is happening. I'm getting these types of messages and I'm understanding things this way. So it kind of helped me to understand my gifts and the messages that I was getting, and made things make sense, if that makes sense. So if you're someone that's on your intuitive journey or you think you might be a medium, you're interested in reincarnation, you're interested in what life after death, those kinds of things, highly recommend this book. Trying to decide which one to show you guys next. Okay, this one is not so much about, which I know most people have read this by now. I'm finding out a lot more men are reading this book than before, and guys, I am so proud of you. This is not necessarily about our intuition or things like that, but I find that understanding the love languages really helps you, one, learn to love yourself, and I'll get into that in a second, but also with your kids, with your family, with your friends. Like, it's so much deeper than just your, romantic relationships. So learning about the 5 love languages, how they apply, and learning that maybe some people don't even know their love language, or how they're speaking it, or how to speak yours, and you can help them with that. So it can help you in multiple areas and facets of life. But I like it because I like knowing the love languages, because it helps me to love people the way that they need to be loved. And that goes for my kids, that goes for my siblings, that goes for my clients oftentimes. I speak my love languages, but I also have learned to attune to theirs as well to help them, because that's what matters, right? It doesn't matter how I love someone. It matters how they receive love. And so when we can speak somebody's love language, just like when we can speak their actual language, they understand us more, they receive us more, and it's easier for everyone. So I really believe this should be on everyone's bookshelf, just so that you can even understand yourself better, because for a long time I thought I knew what my love languages were, but till I actually read this, I had one of them right, the other one I was actually wrong about. And then when you do your self-work, you can actually use those love languages on yourself. Like, speak your own love language, right? So if you are someone that your love language is quality time, I invite you to ask yourself, are you giving yourself quality time? Are you taking time to meditate, to work out, to take baths, to read, like whatever? Are you taking quality time with yourself? So make sure that if you're feeling unfulfilled, that you check in with yourself and see if you're speaking your own love language, okay? So, Return to Love. This one I've read probably 2 or 3 times. She actually ran for president, or she was trying to run for president last time, and then I think she tried this time too. But I've read this one on and off over the years, and you can see through here, like, I've bookmarked so many pages. This one's really old, like it's yellow, it looks kind of gross, but I've had it for a really long time. And this one teaches you not only about self-love, but how to love other people, how to be more understanding, how to shift your perspective. And she actually does her teaching off of A Course in Miracles. So this is A Course in Miracles. No, I have not read this entire book. This book reads like the Bible. Like, it is so, the words are so small. It's so, for me, it was very hard to read, but I believe this is did I get the teacher's edition? I can't remember. I think I got like some kind of extra edition, but her book is based off of this book, and so she takes the teachings and breaks them down and makes it a lot easier to understand, implement, and all of that. So highly recommend this book. Also highly recommend having this book. I mean, there's paper clips, there's stuff in here. I've read through it. I have not read this entire book. This is something that, like, I reference, right? So this is something that I go through and I look at and I see, like, what do I need? And like lesson 250, or it's 281, I can be hurt by nothing but my thoughts. And lesson 282, I will not be afraid of love today. Like, there's so many good little things in here that you can stop and you can read and help you to remember, right? So if you're someone that reads the Bible, I know there's, different lessons in there that people refer to all of the time. This is somebody's going to yell at me for saying this is like the Bible. That is not how I mean it, but this is something that you can also reference for the lessons, for the depth, for the perspective, for the love, for the healing. So I recommend this as well. I do believe there is a more simplified version. Yeah, the only complete edition. Like, I just went all in. I got extra, right? So A Course in Miracles, a lot of teachers in the spiritual and self-help space: Wayne Dyer, Gabby Bernstein, Marianne Williamson, a bunch of authors in this space. I think Oprah has a few things on the Course in Miracles as well. They go off of the book and the teachings in this book. It's a very, very helpful tool on your own journey and when helping others as well. Actually, flipping through that made me want to pick it back up. This one, the cover is missing. Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. I really love him. Like, I really, really like him. I like watching his stuff. I like reading his books. He's so down to earth and easy to follow. And this book just, I've also dog-eared and highlighted so many pages in this book. This one, it was really good and also an easy read, but this one I also took my time with. In this book, he talks about how he got to where he is. And so he actually said, like, him and his dad were homeless at one point. I believe, if I'm not mixing up my books, that he was also dyslexic and he had trouble in school. Yes, it was him, because he said he was dyslexic, so how would he ever write? Like, all of these different challenges came to him. And he figured out how to work through them, and he figured out that it's all about mindset and it's all about shifting your perspective. But one exercise that he has in here is an exercise that I use with my clients all the time. And I probably have used it on myself 4 times this year. Well, in the past 12 months. It's called the 7 Layers Deep exercise. And this exercise has helped me and my clients with so many massive breakthroughs, and I give him credit every time. And actually, he got the lesson from someone else. And so what he uses it for is finding your why you do the things that you do, your why for your business, your why for, your next level, whatever why you're looking for. And you can apply this to any different thing. But the concept goes like this. What is my why? Well, my why is that let's just say for business, right? I'm throwing this out there for anyone. What is my why? Well, I have a family to support and I have bills to pay and I kind of like what I do. And then you would go, and what is beneath this? And then you would dig a little deeper. And then you go, and what is beneath this? And you dig a little deeper, and you do it 7 times. You don't do it 6 times, you don't do it 8 times, you don't do it 9 times, you do it 7 times. And there's something magical that happens on the 7th time. I couldn't believe it when I did it myself, because I wasn't really getting anywhere. But something happened around 6 or 7 where I had a massive breakthrough the first time. And like I said, now I use this with my clients, I use it with myself all the time. It's just such a good, potent exercise. So highly recommend this book. The exercise, I believe, is in this book, and his story is just really good. So if you're someone who struggles with self-worth, with wondering if you're enough, with wondering if you're capable, if you have the skills, highly recommend Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. Gabby Bernstein's Make Calls Miracles. I have had multiple of her books. I have her cards. I do love her as well. But she really helped me become who I am today. And I hope that one day I can get that message to her. This is my 3rd or 4th copy of this book as well. I gave one away on a plane. It was my 3rd time working through it. 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. It was my 3rd time working through it. And I just happened to be on the last chapter. And I'm sitting next to this lady on a plane, and she's like, oh my God, is that Make Calls Miracles? I've been looking at that book for years. I've just never pulled the trigger. I'm like, girl, you need this book. She's like, okay, like I'm thinking about it. And she goes on to tell me that she had just left a long-term relationship. She was a single mom, and she was taking her first ever vacation just for her by herself. And we had the best talk. We both were like in happy tears. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful moment. So I wrote a little message in the back of the book and I gave it to her when I got off the plane. And I had just finished the chapter. And those moments are miracle moments. Those moments where you connect with people. Like, what are the chances she wanted that book? What are the chances she knew that book? Like, in all of her story and just all these amazing things. So this book goes through a lesson per day. So it is not hard to read. It is not hard to follow. It is not hard to keep up with. Do you have to do the work? Yes. Is the work easy? No. Is the book simple? Yes. Is the work easy? No. But this book literally changed my life because it taught me grace. It taught me how to actually use the affirmations that I was trying to implement. It taught me how to shift perspectives, how to see others different, how to see myself different, how to go a little bit deeper into my automatic writing, which I didn't know a lot about at the time, how to connect with my higher self. This book will shape and shift you in amazing ways. I like to do it with a buddy because it helps keep us both accountable and showing up every day. So the first time I did it with a friend that I met in an online group where I was working to develop my intuition. Second time I did it with one of my colleagues that I have in my Spiritpreneur group. Yeah, I cannot recommend this book enough. And if you're just listening to the podcast, it's called Miracles by Gabby Bernstein, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Again, her teachings are also based off A Course in Miracles. And you guys, again, I'm going to link all these books in the show notes and on the blog. And then I'm also going to, any that I didn't bring out here with me, I'm going to link those too that I happen to think of or grab around the house. But I can only carry so many. We only have so much time. Okay. This is my holy grail of, oh my God, this made my entire existence make sense book. When I first started my journey of, I don't even want to say I was on a journey yet. I had just had that moment where I decided, okay, I have some kind of gift, something's going on, I need to figure it out. I found this girl who was local. I don't even remember how I found her. And I messaged her, I think it was like back in Facebook days, messaged her on Facebook, and I asked her if she had any recommendations. So she ended up telling me about a local meditation group, and then she told me about this book. She is not someone that I've kept in touch with. We vibe completely differently, but I will forever be grateful for her for turning me onto this and the meditation group, because both of those things changed my life. That meditation group happened to be where I met my friend Kylie, who encouraged me to give my very first reading. Like, I met her in that group, and by the end of the meeting, she had convinced me to give my first reading. And then it was just bam, 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 back to back to back from there. So can't thank this girl enough. I can't thank my friend Kylie enough. So this book is called The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth. If you've ever worked with me, I have probably recommended this book to you. It's by Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon, I have many of her books. I think I have 3 or 4 more inside. The Convoluted Universe, Conversations. I don't remember the name of the other one right off the top of my head. This is by far my favorite book of hers that I have read. 1, the easiest to read. 2, it just made my whole life make sense. So I'm telling you, as I'm reading through this book, which is incredibly odd, if you've never been on any kind of journey like this, I had never heard of half the stuff in this book when I picked it up. But when I tell you the dreams, the experiences, the I don't want to ruin it, but the way that they talk about things in this book, it was like aha after aha after aha. Like, I had moments where I was crying, I had moments where I was laughing, I had moments where I was gasping, because to me, as someone who's always been incredibly intuitive and I didn't know what the heck was going on with me, it validated so much for me in my life. Like, I can't even begin to explain it to you. And then the 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth is, it talks about the different souls that have incarnated to Earth at this time, and past generations, and what we're here to do. And when I tell you that there are things in this book that have come to fruition and are coming to fruition, it's going to blow your mind. So, highly recommend this book. If you're someone that is thinking about your intuition, if you're on an intuitive journey, if you have always wondered about reincarnation, just the spiritual aspects as a whole, if you have been hearing about the New Earth, which has been talked about a lot in the past 4 years, this is your book. 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth by Dolores Cannon. I have been recommending it since day 1 of the blog, of having clients, and I will recommend it until the day I die. And as you can see, I also use this book kind of like A Course in Miracles, where I go back and I don't necessarily read it. I haven't reread it again. I think I read it twice, but this isn't one that I go back and I constantly reread. Instead, I have highlighted and bookmarked a lot of different things in here that have helped me, lessons, things like that. So, highly recommend this book. And my last but not least favorite is Rich as Belief by Amanda Frances. I've also given a copy of this book away to someone who wanted to read it. So this book is based, well, I don't know if it's based off of her course, but I have multiple of her courses, and I have her big course. I think it's called Money Mindset Makeover. That book, or sorry, that course really changed my perspective and my relationship with money. And while I was taking that course, I had multiple of the most lucrative months in business I have ever had. And anytime I feel like I'm slipping or my mindset's slipping, I reference back to either that course or this book. This book has so many good lessons just from her. She's a really effing good coach. She really knows what she's talking about when it comes to money and mindset, and particularly our relationship with money. And I think a lot of people don't understand that each of us has a relationship with money. We have beliefs, we have patterns that have come from when we were children that have been ingrained in us that we still may be carrying around. So this book is really good because it's in her voice, it's easy to read, it's funny sometimes because I think she's funny. And then she has homework in here, she has affirmations for you. Like, this book could be sold for a lot more money than it is. Like, this book transforms lives. I bought the book just because I love her and I thought it would be easy for me to reference back to instead of going back to the course all the time. But I did read it through, and like I said, I've given copies of this away too. My dog also got a hold of it. But this is a really, 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 really good book. She has an audio book of it now. I'm gonna be honest, I prefer to read it because you, one, absorb it better, but two, the lessons are in here, the homework's in here. So I've listened to the audiobook. Wow. I've listened to this a lot, or I've read this a lot, but I've listened to the audiobook. I didn't like it as much. It was harder for me to follow, but because I had the book, it was easy for me to reference back, if that makes sense. Because like I said, there's homework, there's exercises, there's meditations, there's a lot of different things in here. And this is Rich as Belief by Amanda Frances. So like I said, you guys, I am going to link all of these in the blog, in the show notes, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I kind of forgot that I was doing an episode because I just really love talking about these books and how these help me and transform my life and how I've shared them with others. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Spirited Life podcast, and I will talk to you next time. And don't forget, if you're on your intuitive journey and you want to learn how to tap into spirit, connect with yourself, or just meet your spirit guides and understand how you're receiving these messages that you're getting, I highly recommend my intuitive development and progression course that you can find on my website, or I am taking private clients at the moment where we can work one-on-one together and with guides.